just wondered, David obviously had so many roles, different roles within cricket. I just wondered which one of all of those roles he actually enjoyed the most.
Well, Jenny, you'd have to be playing. There's no substitute for playing. You know, the thrill of playing against terrific players and the success that you have and the despair, and you've got to balance a few. I don't think I'd enjoy playing right now. But I do enjoy what I do. I still enjoy the game. I enjoy cricket and the way that it's evolving. Administrators have got a lot on their plate. They've got to make sure that they get it right. But playing, nothing better than playing. But, you know, my eyes weren't as good as they should have been. My knees weren't as good as they should have been when I finished age 36.
Lovely. Thank you very much. And I've got a question from north of the border. Fraser Sim, are you there?
Yes, hello, good evening. David.
Hi, Fred. There's
quite a few members of the Cricket Society of Scotland here tonight. Can you tell us if you have any special memories of Mike Denness, your captain on the 74-75 tour?
Oh, what a wonderful question. He was a great man. He was from Ayr, I think. Wasn't Mike from Ayr?
Correct.
He was a really nice fella, and he was a player. He was a good player. He captained us, certainly the short time that I played, against India and Pakistan in 74. We did a good job on both of those teams. We came up short against Australia. He was unlucky on that tour. If you remember, when he arrived in Australia, he had pleurisy, and he missed about the first 2 or 3 weeks and never really recovered from that. But he was a fine fella, nice chap. Captain Kent, and they were a good side too. Well, a bit better than a good side. They were an excellent team. Derek Underwood, Brian Luckhurst, Alan Knott, Colin Cowdrey, David Nichols, Alan Elam. Good side. Nice fella.
Fabulous, thank you. And I've got a question from Malcolm. Can you unmute yourself, Malcolm?
Yes, good evening.
Hello, Malcolm.
Hello. Bumble, apart from this evening, what's the most memorable event you've had in cricket?
Apart from the singing?
This evening. This evening.
Oh, this evening. I thought you said singing. Well, I'll come back to singing. That, you know, I was petrified when I did Sweet Caroline in front of 25,000 at Edgbaston. But I've done it since, and I think I'm getting better. I'm a bit like the pub singer, so that was great fun. From a cricketing viewpoint, Jimmy Anderson's 600th Test match wicket, very special. Stuart Broad's 500th, that, you know, they were terrific times. And from a coaching viewpoint, when we played a 5-match series in the late 90s against South Africa, and we shaded that 2-1. They were a fabulous team, and we got the better of them. And the final game was at Headingley, and they know at Headingley, these Yorkshire folk, they know a bargain when they see it, because it was free on the last day, and 13,000 of them turned up.
I've got a question from our treasurer, Phil Reeves.
Hi, Bumble. It's not a financial question, you'll be pleased to know. But taking into account your commentary experience, your experience as an umpire and a player, how would you approach the task of getting Steve Smith out?
Well, I did this on Sky, I think, 2 years ago. I went round asking the punters, asking the spectators, and nobody came up with the answer. So, from what I've seen recently, who's given him most trouble? Jofra Archer has given him most trouble. And so it begs the question, I'd like to have seen Steve Smith play against Michael Holding, Andy Roberts, Joel Garner, Colin Croft. I'd like to have seen that, because they would have given him a real examination. Jofra Archer disturbed him. There's absolutely no doubt about that. But these great players tend to cope. Brian Lara, you could get Brian Lara hopping around a little bit, but they tend to cope and they box clever. And of course, when you come up against somebody like that, the best place to be is stood at the other end. So that means rotate the strike. And from a tactical viewpoint, I don't want to bore everybody here, but I was never a fan, again, from coaching, when somebody said, oh, you take him and I'll take him. I've never liked that, because you're not rotating the strike. The scoreboard gets static. I think that you've got to try to move the board along, but also to get the bowler out of his rhythm by exchanging the strike.
Thanks, Bumble. I've got a question from Nigel, actually, our chairman. Nigel, are you there, Nigel?
Hi, yes, and I've unmuted myself. Mentioning Steve Smith, Bumble, early on in the book, you mentioned that Steve Smith took his bat with him to restaurants. I'm not quite sure whether that was a literal or metaphorical reference, but what I wanted to ask you was about Bob Willis. Bob's a great friend of the Cricket Society. He spoke a couple of times. We had some great evenings. He, of course, died recently. You write a few pages about him in your book. Could you just share a thought or two about Bob, please?
Yeah, Bob was a fantastic man, gone too soon. Friend to all of us, outrageous company. And, you know, from time to time, people have said, boring Bob Willis. He was anything but that. He was a party animal, a very affectionate chap. He would look after you, a true friend. And I mentioned that you'd get a call from Bob, and he was a great organizer. And he would, in that laconic way that he spoke, he said, hello, I think we should have a particularly long lunch. And we would do too. And these lunches, he would have all sorts of people there. You'd turn up at lunch and Tim Rice would be there. There'd be all sorts of luminaries. Michael Henderson, the cricket writer, very eminent chap. And we'd have great fun. And so Bob was a wonderful friend to all of us, passionate about England cricket. And of course, the role that he had as a broadcaster, you know, he could be outrageous. He'd chainsaw Bob, he'd get his chainsaw out. He had some fantastic lines. When England were beaten 5-0, I think Andrew Flintoff was captain at the time, and they were beaten 5-0 in Australia. It was a heavy defeat. And Bob was asked by Charles Colville what should happen. And Bob looked into the camera as only he could. And he said, they should all be sent home economy class. And some of them should be strapped to the wings.
Fabulous. I think we might have the last question from Phil Veazey. Phil, are you there?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Mr. Lloyd, for a wonderful evening.
Thanks,
Thoroughly
Phil.
enjoyed it.
Good man.
During the early days of 2020, you were commentating at Chelmsford. A
Yes.
ball went over the top. You were very famously watched climbing over a garden fence to fetch the ball back. Did you ever keep that one?
Of course. And John and I have spoken about Accrington Cricket Club. It was my quest because, you know, like every cricket club, we were skint at Accrington and we needed cricket balls. And I saw this in the garden. And in fact, the people, they set the dog on me. But I got the ball. And it's been, don't tell anybody. I know there's probably about 300 people tuned into this. It's been my quest over the years to, if I find a cricket ball lying about on the floor, it goes straight in my pocket and then straight into Accrington Cricket Club bag.
Like, they certainly deserved that one because you had to work hard for it.
I did. I had to go down the scaffolding and then climb over his garden fence. And then he swore at me, the fella, and set the dog on me.
Good watching on Sky.
Thank you,
Thank
Phil.
you.
Thanks, Phil. And that was fantastic. We said we'd wrap up at 7 o'clock. So it's been a fantastic hour. Thank you so much to Bumble and John. And I'm going to hand over to Mick Kelly to propose the vote of thanks.
Thanks, Nick. Thanks, Bumble. That's been a brilliant hour. Thanks for your time. And thanks, Johnny, for asking great questions, and for everyone who's joined this this last hour. I think we had over 300 people from all around the world at one point. I've not bought the book yet, but I'm definitely going to buy it. And I think Nick has been putting the link on the messaging. Bumble, I've got one last question to ask you before we go, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
And it's related to singing. I was at Edgbaston when you sang Sweet Caroline, and also when you sang Folsom Prison Blues at the Finals Day. Both great renditions. When's the album out, and are you going on tour after lockdown?
Well, I'm great friends with one of the best singers of all time. Is Robbie Williams.
Right. Yeah.
I'm great friends with his dad, Pete. Pete was Robbie Williams' dad, Pete, was a proper cricketer. He played against Gary Sobers and Wes Hall. He was a left-arm spinner in the Staffordshire League.
Right.
And he was a singer as well. He did all the clubs, and that's where Robbie gets his singing from. So I think that Robbie Williams' dad, Pete, and I we should bring an album out. And the title is Bumble and Robbie's Dad.
Definitely do that. Do it for charity.
Yeah, it'd be great. And we both do the same gigs. He does Sweet Caroline, and so do I.
You could come back and do a concert for us next time, Bumble.
Yeah, well, the Folsom Prison Blues. Johnny Cash is.
Brilliant.
I am Johnny Cash.
Yeah. Okay. Once again, thanks a lot, Bumble. That's been a great evening.
No, thank you, and thanks, Johnny. See you soon.
Oh, it's been lovely.
I'll mute everybody so we can